Hey, what's up? Jake Andrews here. Welcome to my channel. Got a great blues rock guitar lesson coming at you today. And it is Look at Little Sister, Stevie Ray Vaughan. This is off Stevie's 1985 album, Soul to Soul, his third solo album. Great album. Now, this is his version. And I say version because it is a cover of the song by the great Hank Ballard. Hank Ballard and the Midnighters was the group, and this song came out in 1960. It was on an album called Mr. Rhythm and Blues, and it included one of his most well-known songs called Finger Poppin Time. Cool early R&B rock and roll hit. Y'all better check that out. Finger Poppin Time. I'll have to show you how to play it sometime. Now, Hank Ballard, I'll give you a quick history about him. He was one of the early rock and roll guys. His group transitioned from the Royals to the Midnighters in the early 50s, and he kind of came from that real doo-wop sound into the early rock and roll R&B sound. He was a huge influence, a favorite of Stevie and Jimmy Vaughan. Great, great music. So y'all need to check out Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. A lot of cool R&B hits in the 50s and early 60s. So this is his song, and if you look up the original, you will hear that the guitar is pretty much just what Stevie Ray plays. He doesn't stray too far away from the original. So a lot of the guitar work on the early Hank Ballard stuff is just killer, so cool. You need to check it out if I haven't said that already. All right, so Stevie Ray, his version, of course, is in E flat as he's tuned down, but we're in the open E position. You could play it in regular standard tuning, but you can't play it along with Stevie Ray. You can play it along with Hank Ballard because he does it in the key of E. So if you want to do it with me, go ahead and tune your guitar down a half step. So we're in E flat. And it's just a great medium tempo 12-bar blues kind of shuffle, but it has these punches, these breaks on it, which are so cool, very recognizable. Vocal is so great. And then the solo is short and sweet. So this is a great Stevie Ray Vaughan introductory song because it's not near as difficult to learn as some of his other stuff. All right, y'all, let's hop in here and let me show you how to play it. All right, everybody, here we go. Up close and personal. Look at Little Sister. Like I said, Stevie Ray is tuned down a half step to E flat, and we're playing in the open E position down here, so... Yes, sir. All right, so this is really just kind of a 12-bar blues type rhythm, a Jimmy Reed rhythm, if you will. And you probably played this or seen it, but it looks like this, the first verse. All right, so he comes in with that first vocal part. Hey, 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 hey. And right there, we hit. Right where he sings mama, okay? And what we are doing is this shuffle rhythm. First finger is on the A string, fifth string at the second fret. And what it is just the two lowest notes of an E chord and then an A chord as well. But the first part, we're coming up here, so we're going to get those two lowest notes. Actually, it's basically an open power chord. And what we're doing is just alternating that with your ring finger here, same string at the fourth fret. And you guys have seen this before. You know this. This is a basic Jimmy Reed shuffle. Jimmy Reed, a great blues man, and this is kind of associated with him, but that's what we're doing. Real even. The shuffle means we're kind of emphasizing the backbeat. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And that's what that feel is, okay? That is the shuffle. So we're going to do this part here. We're going to do it for, normally we would do that for 8 rounds, but we're going to stop on the 7th one and just hit this once. Okay, so we did it 6 times, hit the 7th one as if we're starting it. But then we quickly do these breaks here on the root note, the E note. 5 times. We're hammering from the open D string onto the E note. 5 times. All right, so that sounds like this. Hey, 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 hey. Now we're going right to A, which is the same thing here. On the A, we're going to go. So we're going up a half step to the 7th. And because the lick is twice as long now, we're only going to do it for 2 full rounds. Okay, then we're back to E for 4 rounds. By the way, keep your pick in here close and try to get just those 2 strings. Get it real clean, but also very firm, okay? So that really rings out pretty strongly. Now we are doing this old school blues pattern here. Once again, kind of a Jimmy Reed thing. Just like we were doing A here, the old school guys would jump up and just do B right here open with the open A string. You can hear it kind of has that odd sound on its own, but in the context of the riff, it sounds very cool. And we're going to bring in our middle and third fingers and kind of walk up. Watch this. You see that? So twice here, double strings. And then individually pick the D to E flat note. Actually, in this case, that's the C sharp to D note. Anyways. And then back here twice. Come up here to the front side. Just pick it once, because then we're going to hit the open strings. Jump back here to A flat, and do it here, same pattern. And hit them open. Back to the E. 2.5 rounds there. Okay, so let's go back up to that. This is where we go up to the 5 chord change. So once again, it looks like this, sounds like this. Cut it off there as if you were starting a third one, and then we go right here. This is the 5 chord change note, okay? And we're gonna hammer onto that 5 times. And that ends the verse. Yes, sir. Let's play this whole thing. Hey, 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 mama. And that is the first rhythm verse, my friends. Okay, you might have noticed when I was playing in the intro, I would hit this note. That's pretty cool to throw in like Now let me just mention here, when we go up here and play this pattern, you can strum both strings if you can get them both. Okay, you can strum them here, both strings. If it's easier to just play the single note, that's fine as well. Or hit them both. And notice those notes that I hit open, it's just a quick passing little open note phrase there, and it sounds cool. Very common in blues and Stevie Ray's playing especially. Okay, so moving on. Second verse starts just the same. That's a little different though, all right? So what do? We do this instead of like the first verse where we hit this 5 times. We're gonna do our main rhythm piece a little longer. So we're doing it 7 times, and then we cut it off at the beginning of the 8th round, and we hammer onto this same note right here, E flat, twice. So once again, this is the second verse. And then go ahead into the A part. A flat, of course, twice. It's all the same as the first verse at this point. All right, so now we're coming to the third verse, and that's where we do these breaks. And so into the second verse, we hit the turnaround piece 5 times, and then hit the open E flat and break on it. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, drum fill. Okay? What is that? So we open, and then we get here, and we kind of trill, hammer on that middle finger. 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. Ba, 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 ba. Okay? So we really just do that twice. Okay, so it sounds like this. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, ba, 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 ba. And then we're into the regular verse at that point. All right, and now we are into the sax solo. Keep that rhythm going. A few little changes. So let's start the fourth verse. Stevie Ray's just playing the rhythm, and we're doing the same. Okay, so we do the full 8 rounds, and at the end of that, that little passing phrase to change to the 4 chord. And then it's going to be the same. Let's try that again. And 2, 3, 4. So you see it on the 8th one. And then change. And back. 5 chord change. So you hit that 5 times, and now we begin the solo. Now, my tip is that if you're going to try to hit it the full 5 times here, it's a pretty quick change. You could do it, but you might want to leave off that last hammer-on and just do it 4 times. Okay, so that's just depends if you're quick enough to grab that. You might hit it open too. So anyways, the solo starts right there up in our first position up high. We're at the 12th fret. So let me kick on my drive and play this phrase just like Stevie Ray does it, like this. All right, so what is that? We're up here in our first position, E minor pentatonic. And once again, that lick. Okay, so we're starting off with one of the most common foundational blues, rock and roll licks ever. We're on the 3rd string, and we're gonna bend that. And notice how I'm bending with my 3rd finger and middle finger. Okay, so I'm at 14, my thumb's over the top, and I'm squeezing it up. And then my first finger is barring these 2 strings, and I go, just scrape it right across. One of the most basic rock and roll blues licks. We're going to be using it a bunch in this solo. So, 1 time. Slight bend on the 2nd string out here at 15, and then I'm going to come back here and go 1st, 2nd. Put those together. Now go to the 1st string out here at 15, put a little vibrato on it. And come back to that root note. Then you go back to this first part again twice. And then finally over here, 2nd string, I'm using my ring finger, you could use your pinky. Pull it off. And then take it up on a bend. Take it up to the top of the bend and slide off of it. Let's play that whole thing together slowly. Woo, what a cool riff. Okay, and then he follows it up with this. That's a big lick in itself, okay? So we're starting again with this. There's a pause right before this. And we're starting again with this same bend here. Down to the second string, slight bend. And then first to second. Just like the beginning of that first lick. Now we're going to repeat this part 2 more times. So the whole lick so far looks like. Okay, come out here to the first string, ring finger at 15, and we're going to pick it 3 times and put some vibrato. And we're going 15, 17, 19. Really, it's just twice here at 15. Pick it 3 times at 17, 3 times at 19. All right, let's stop there and play everything on this lick so far. Notice how there's a slight hesitation there at the end of right there, and then now come back to 17. Okay, so you're going to slide backwards from 19 to 17, and then he's going to switch over to the middle finger there on the first string. That's the major third. Do, re, mi. That's the major third. It's a major note we're throwing in here in our minor pentatonic position. See, we're in the second box. But we're getting that note, okay? So after we go, come back to the middle finger and go, pick it once, back to the ring finger, both fingers, up, down, bend. So, back to this note, hammer on and pull off. Okay, are you with me so far? And then back to this, and we're going to pick it twice and pull off and do that again. Finally up to the root note. If I take it from that's what we have so far. Listen to this. And then we're going to follow it up by picking this root note again and walking up the first string, bend, and slide off. Okay, so let's do that again slowly. And notice that slight hesitation before we do the... All right, let's throw on the drive, the overdrive, get that SRV tone, and play this lick fast. That is it. And of course, in between, he does some of this kind of stuff, like... And now we're moving into this last big chunk of it, which sounds like... What is that? That's a big lick right there. So we come back here and do this same bend, second to first string. But then he's going to come back up to the second string. And it's quick. first string slight bend, and then first to second. So putting that together. Now start another one of these bends straight out to the second string. And I'm going to have you use your ring finger there. You could use your pinky, but let me just show you how I'm doing it. At this point, Stevie Ray is using his middle finger to bend the third string and then pick that second string again there on his ring finger. It's a Hendrixy kind of lick. Hendrix used his middle and ring finger, so did SRV, Clapton as well. You could use your ring and pinky, but this is how these guys are doing it. So when I add that in, and then I come off of it into a regular fingering. So I come off of that bend, let that come down, back, and you're in your box there. From there, we're going to come back to our first finger here at the third string at 12. So and then we're going to add in 4 of these. So I'm borrowing those same 2 strings, but now I'm strumming them. And they're quick. All right, so far we have this. Now we're going to come back to the third string and we're going to bend and pull this off kind of violently. Watch how I do this. Back to my first finger. So it's an up, down, bend, and then a pull off. And you just got to go for it. Like I said, kind of violently. Come back down on the ring finger. And now we're going to hammer into the major third here on the third string from 12 to 13. And fall. See, my first finger's barred on those 2 strings again. That little major triad coming from our major chord. So hammer. And now I'm going to strum all 3 strings. These are triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And I've counted it out. It's actually 13 strums, but it's... You hear that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And doing it all together. Finally, we're going up here. We're going to the 5 chord change. But we are doing what's called an augmented. That is augmented. And we get this sound. The full chord, we're barring down the second string, but he's not even getting that. Just these 3 notes. And he's hitting it with that same timing of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So strum all 3 of those strings, 5, 4, and 3, pretty firmly. And that is the end of that solo. So that whole piece. Woo! That is the whole thing, okay? Let's play that last riff with some drive, get that tone. And at that point we hit we go right into those same breaks. So 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Now you notice when I played it in the intro, I did a lick there. Kind of a Freddie King, SRV kind of lick. Feel free to put anything in there because really he doesn't play much lead besides that one solo verse. So feel free to put some licks in there when you're playing along. Okay, so that was the solo, guys. Once again, coming out of this chord. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. And then from there, we're just back to the regular rhythm coming in on the A. With our regular turnaround. Now let's go into a final full verse. Here we go, everybody. It's actually just like the second verse. This is the only difference. Now, when we come off of the turnaround, break on that E, as if you were starting the E flat, but hit it once, break, and then we do this lick. Okay? Very similar lick to what he plays on Pride and Joy. He plays it all the time, especially in his open E position. It's really kind of a Freddie King lick, but middle finger, third string, first finger's on the second string, and we're gonna slide kind of from 2 into 4. Strum all 3 strings. So get that open E string. And then just slide backwards just on that middle finger. And pull it off at 2. Root note here, low root note. Okay, so and at that point we're jumping up to a 9th chord right here, E flat 9. Very important chord. See my ring finger is getting all 3 strings here. Middle finger on the 5th string. First finger on the 4th. And ring finger's flat. You kind of just have to let it all collapse. Very important blues chord. But even more so in funk, man. This is the funk chord. James Brown, baby. I'm getting away from myself. That's a lesson for another day. But that's the chord we're using, and we're walking it back from 9 to 7. In other words, F, E, E flat. Band's kind of playing, and then a final hit. Feel free to strum that up. Before you hit. Now putting that in with the ending of the last verse. Ow! As he says. And that is the end of the lesson. Great SRV version of this classic song. Have fun doing this. Play along with the track. Make sure you're tuned down. There are some backing tracks for it on YouTube. And I will see you back out there in the real world. I hope you guys enjoyed learning that song, a great one. I think it's not that fast, so you can definitely work it up and play along with the original recording. Go check out the original Hank Ballard version and try to play along with that as well. It's in the key of E, so standard tuning. Now, one thing I will mention for SRV's tone, of course, a good Strat. I've got my original 1960 Strat, which is very similar to his. So a good 60s style Strat will help you get that tone, but if you don't have it, any Strat will work. And of course, he's very well known for using the tube screamer on the solo. Besides that, just crank it up and get a good biting sound on that rhythm. I was in the back pickup, but I had the tone turned back a little as well, so I wasn't too bright. Okay, and then on the solo, kick on that tube screamer and you will be on your way to getting Stevie Ray's tone. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Hit the bell icon so you can get notifications when I release a new video. Please leave me a like and leave me some comments as well. Let me know how you liked it. Let me know some other songs you'd like me to cover. And I will see you guys and gals soon. Adios.